Dracunculiasis, the guinea worm disease, is an infection caused by the largest of the tissue nematode parasites that affects humans. Because researchers know how to eradicate this disease, and it has already been eradicated in many countries, dracunculiasis is categorized as a neglected tropical disease. So basically, what is the guinea worm disease? It works by the larva of the guinea worm being eaten by a water flea. And once that water flea consumes the guinea worm, it lies in the water, and a person can drink that contaminated water. And once the water flea is consumed, it moves to the stomach, where the water flea then dies and the larva is released. From there, the larva then penetrates the wall of the intestine. The larva moves into the body cavity and migrates through the subcutaneous tissues. And there, 90% of the time, it develops either in the leg or the foot, but it develops into a full-size female adult, and that process takes around 10 to 14 months. And it's a pretty disgusting-looking worm underneath the skin. As a full-size female adult, it's around 2 to 3 feet long, which measures around 60 to 100 centimeters. And the CDC has called it as white as a cooked spaghetti noodle. So just picture that, a worm like a spaghetti noodle under your skin. Infected individuals relieve the pain by immersing the blister in cold water. And the problem with that is that once the blister is immersed in cold water, it kind of loosens up, the skin loosens up, and then once the worm is fully grown, within 24 to 72 hours, the blister bursts, usually when it's immersed in water. So upon the blister bursting, the full worm is released, and a milky liquid is also released that contains millions of larvae. So it's kind of like this never-ending cycle of larvae being into the water fleas eating the larva, people eating the water fleas releasing the larva, the worm growing and then being released again. The problem with being infected with guinea worm disease is that it causes the infected individual to be non-functional for many months. It causes unrelenting pain, itching, and irritating sensations.
Hey kids, I'm Professor Baxter, and today I'm going to be talking about guinea worm disease and the location where it is the biggest problem. The country that is most affected by guinea worm disease is South Sudan. In fact, 76 of the reported cases are from that region alone. And this is because only half the population has access to clean water. The national income in South Sudan is $984 per person, which makes about $3 a day. There's extremely limited access to clean drinking water and affordable sanitary measures.
And especially in South Sudan, what happens is that since a lot of individuals sustain themselves by being involved with the industry of agriculture and farming and a lot of manual labor, when an individual is non-functional and can only sit in one place because of the pain caused by the blister, their economic ability to produce wealth decreases, and that really affects the whole population of South Sudan. We have been endowed $100,000 to go towards the eradication of dracunculiasis in South Sudan.
Okay, so the organization we have chosen to work with is the Carter Center. The Carter Center focuses solely on leading the international campaign to eradicate dracunculiasis, and they work closely with and manages many of the programs implemented by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the World Health Organization and National Ministries of Health. And so we have been endowed $100,000 to help the Carter Center eradicate dracunculiasis in South Sudan. So to start off with, 12% of our funds will be used to build structures around open wells in at-risk areas. This $12,000 will be able to protect at least 200 wells, since each brick costs about 60 cents. By building these barriers, infected individuals will be prevented from dunking their blisters into the water or wading around in the pool and further contaminating the supply.
15% of the money will be used to treat water in South Sudan with abate, a tamethos chemical.
Okay, so the Carter Center is funded appropriately to treat as many wells as possible with abate tamethos chemical that eradicates all insects and dangerous water fleas inside contaminated water. This chemical is reapplied to the water on a monthly basis. On average, costs around $5 per kilogram. With this money, South Sudan's drinking water can be treated with 3,000 kilograms of abate. 60% of our endowment will be used to purchase and distribute filter cloths that will help the individuals weed out the unwanted bacteria and insects like water fleas from their drinking water. These cloths are used by draping them over the opening of a water glass or bottle and pouring the water through the cloth, preventing all solid objects and beings from entering the glass. After much research, we have found that each cloth costs under $3 and can prevent an individual from drinking contaminated water for several years. Thus, with this allocation of our funds, we will most likely be able to provide 20,000 people with a filter. 13% of our funds will be used to support the Carter Center, who organizes such networks of volunteer and compensated health workers to attend to the needs of those infected. These will be the same workers who will work to spread awareness and information about the importance of clean drinking water and the risks of disease like dracunculiasis.
With this plan, we can officially eradicate Dracunculiasis once and for all. So let's keep on checking and say goodbye to the guinea worm disease.
South Sudan has been neglected, and it needs our help. Help now.